2nd of June. Buses will replace trains between Edinburgh and Shorts. Journey times will be extended, so please plan your journey in advance by checking the ScotRail website or downloading the ScotRail app.
So this is our first train this trip, and we are here very early because I thought there would be a cafe, and there's not, and so I'm a little hungry, but we did get a tea, and we'll take the train to Dundee and do the V&A Museum. I want to go to Verdant Works, but I also have this idea I'm going to get to St Andrews today, and I'm beginning to think it was a little busy, a little more than I might want to bite off, but we'll see. We'll see. It's train and bus to St Andrews or straight up bus, and I don't think my ticket works there. I'll have to pay an extra fee, so we'll just see. Who knows? It's cool and gray all day, 55 all day, so good day for travel.
Что я ни одно видео не было, вообще ни одной ничего не было. 5 раз уже сказала. Ты не унимаешься.
Inside the V&A Museum in Dundee was designed by Kengo Kuma, and he made it inside and outside to look like the mountains around Scotland. So there's enormous amounts of texture and wood on the inside and glass, and on the outside metal and rock. And I'll show you the outside later, but we're going to get a tour, and they're explaining how he built, designed, no straight walls. It curves and twists like waves. So that must be the twists of the walls. These are cores in the rock, the geological surveys that were taken. This is what is underneath this building. There's a sample of the concrete. Can you imagine that pour? I can't imagine that pour. So I'm looking at the construction of this, and I think William would enjoy this a great deal. It's a pretty easy day trip. I know we're only going to have a week, and it's going to disappear like... But I think he would be really geeked out by the construction here and the history of the geology and the building techniques that were created to make this building what it is. I know you're crazy about all the architecture, so it says it was built in the manner of origami. I'm looking at this wondering at which point, where am I? Because I know there's orientation to this. This must be the cafe. I can smell it. I think is that.
You can feel the different stones in it. You can feel that it's actually full of stones.
But it's solid. It's not coarse.
This is solid, yeah. So it just has that like run the entire way through.
Right.
So they are hefty. If you're preoccupied,
So it's really like you start prerequisite for fabric.
yeah. So the only stuff that we don't have that's from here. So all of the concrete and stuff was all local. So this is the only bit that wasn't mined near Monteith Way and locally. And this is called Carlow Blue Limestone. It's from Kilkenny in Ireland. And all the little white bits in it are fossils. So they're about 350 million years old, and they're these little oyster-like creatures called the devil's toenails. because they kind of like hook over themselves. They also kind of look like toenail clippings if you look at them a little bit too much. But you also have like bits of corals as well dotted around. You can see some sea sponges. And this is our flooring from upstairs. So this is all the flooring that we have all along our gallery spaces. And what's special about our flooring is it's actually magnetic. So all the walls are solid concrete, full of rebar, which means that we don't have anywhere that our electronics would go like you usually would in a house through your walls. So we have a little cubby hole under the floor, which hosts all of it. So we need to be able to access that. So I kid you not, it's a fancy toilet plunger. And we just plunge up the individual floorboards and we can get to the electronics underneath. It also means that if like somebody really scuffs one of these floorboards or something gets broken, we can just plunge one up and replace it. Oak on there, yeah. So in terms of another thing that we have that makes our building sustainable is we have these here. And those are what lines our ceilings. So that just lets in natural light. It's literally like a big reflection tube that lets in the light from outside. And we also have these geothermal pylons that basically go into the ground and suck up hot water, which means that we can use 1/3 the electricity a building of this size usually would. I'm not an electrician, so I don't really know what it means, but we have that screen next to the front desk. That is basically so that when I go, we use 1/3 the electricity a building of this size usually does. If someone that knows what they're talking about goes, prove it, I can just point them to that. So they know caps. And those stick on the end of rebar. They're also called rebar caps, but that kind of gives away what they do. And that's so when you have like rebar sticking out during concrete pours, you put that on so if someone was to fall over, they're hitting that instead of hitting this, which would be a lot more painful. And then we have some more bits which are more like hammers. This was used to chip away excess concrete. And then this is one of the 3D models. So this whole building, and most architecture nowadays is all done through 3D modelling. And this is a print that they did of the building. There's our little entrance. And then we have these bit here. And that's that part of the building. And what's important about these is these are some of our structural support. So we do have all these curved walls, and that kind of gets held together by the ceiling to give us support. But we have these here in the middle, which kind of hold up that building and give it that extra kind of wall strength. And then this is one of my favourite bits that we have in there. So Arup is our contracting company that actually built it for us. And this is somebody that worked there called a Mr. Andrew Harvey. And this is like his scrapbook. So anything that went wrong or needed done for the day, he'd write in here. So it'd be like damage on wall, this.
Punch list.
Yeah, a punch list. So anything that went wrong, he'd kind of scrap it down. And he didn't expect it to be donated. So there's things in there like Greg's off sick again and stuff like that, like little complaints and bits. It's even more of a relic for people from the UK. It's from Paper Chase, so it's now a historical artifact that we can never repeat. So be like the geothermals that kind of pull up the hot water as well. And that there is our award-winning scaffolding. So for the people living in Dundee, this was not a very nice looking building during its construction until all of that kind of came off. And we needed that until we ended up putting the roof on the building. So this building, because of the extreme curves, you need to make sure the concrete's cured properly, and you also need to make sure it has that strength that kind of pulls it together. So it was covered in that until we'd completely finished the roofs and we were 100% certain that the concrete all cured. And that's that wall I was showing you outside, that wall 14. So that's it, just by itself, just the wall. So you can see really how extreme those curves are in that building. So I'm going to meet you upstairs.
Welcome to Dundee on a Sunday, and we hopped on a train and made it to Dundee in about an hour and a half maybe, and spent quite a bit of time in this amazing building, the V&E. I didn't record much of the outside tour. I think William is going to love it. He needs to come here and hear all about this engineer, the design, the architecture inspiration, the tie between Japan and Scotland and back and forth. It's a really intense experience, and just the story of the building and the design and execution is enough to finish the day. But the exhibits are equally stunning and integrated and holistic, and just the way it connects art and building and design and sustainability is impressive. You see this braid? I'm curious about doing a cable with a broken stitch on one side. That's what that reminds me of, but I don't know if it'd read. Here is a bike park and lock for the trains. There's a lot of bikes, and I would not want to lift them up there, and they don't look like they pivot. Welcome to St Andrews. And a very windy St Andrews Sunday it is. We were supposed to go to the old course and romp around, but there was this beach, and we did quite a bit of walking on paths, but he's so much happier just doing this. So we'll do this, and then we'll do the walk around St Andrews and the castle and the cathedral ruins. You're gonna hit a who's the cutest? You're the cutest. Yeah, let's not do that. It's so nice that he can just do this instead of being harnessed in a very bumpy bus with lots of stops and starts. Oh, here's big fun. Shoot, I just made noise so it stopped, but there's this creature that spews out these sandworm things. But I heard my big feet coming, so it stopped. Who's the best? You're the best. I swear it's one scene straight out of a Midsummer Murders. It's a little university town. Tree lined. The weather's overcast and a cool breeze, which beats the heck out of straight up sun because at this latitude, it's hot. St. Catherine's Lodge. Please do not feed the students. That's cute. This is so gorgeous. we made it to St Andrews Cathedral ruins, and they're being restored, but I did my homework and read about it before I came here, and you have to look at the ground and imagine where the walls were. So you can see those walls, but that was another wall. That's how thick they were. It's about 3 feet. This is the South Choir aisle. There's the other end of it. Yep, here's remaining pillar bits. This is probably the largest remaining pillar that isn't on an exterior wall. And the sun's come out a little. It's gorgeous. I need a gin and tonic. It's my first proper cask ale pint. Love it. Second. It's been a long day. St Andrews.
What is this trash or what? We're sitting there fucking crying, right?